Welcome to Geography Chapter 4 Agriculture. We often hear that India is an agricultural country. This basically means that agriculture is an important part of our livelihood. In India, agriculture is our primary economic activity, and about 2/3 of our population is engaged in the same. Agriculture is an age-old economic activity in our country. There are food crops and plantation crops grown in India. Paddy, wheat, millets and pulses are the major food crops grown here. The rice is the staple food crop of a majority of the people. This chapter helps us to identify various types of farming, and it discusses the various farming methods. It also explains the importance of agriculture in national economy. It describes the distribution of major crops as well as understand the relationship between rainfall regimes and cropping pattern. 2/3 of India's population is engaged in agricultural activities. Agriculture is a primary activity which produces most of the food and raw material for various industries. The sugar industry, the cotton textile industry, the jute textile industry, vegetable oil industry, the tea industry, the coffee industry, floriculture, fruits and vegetable based industry, etc. are the examples for the industries based on agriculture. Over these years, cultivation methods have changed significantly. Let us look at the different types of farming systems practiced in our country. Primitive subsistence farming. This type of farming is practiced in few pockets of India on small patches of land using primitive tools and family or community labor. It's a slash and burn agriculture. Farmers clear a patch of land and produce cereals and other food crops to sustain their families. A patch of land is cleared by slashing the vegetation, and then the slashed plants are burnt. The ash thus obtained is mixed with the soil and crops are grown. This type of farming depends upon monsoon and natural fertility of the land. In primitive subsistence farming, the farmer does not use fertilizers, irrigation, or other modern inputs. It's typically done on small areas of land with the traditional tools like hoe, dowel, digging sticks, etc. This is the most natural method of growing crops because the natural environment like heat, rain, wind and condition of the soil contribute to the growth of crops. Crops are grown as per the suitability of the environmental condition. When the soil fertility decreases after a couple of seasons, the farmers shift and clear a fresh patch of land for cultivation. This type of shifting allows nature to replenish the fertility of the soil through natural processes. Land productivity is low as the farmer does not use fertilizers or other modern inputs, and this type of farming produces just enough crops to sustain the family. Primitive subsistence farming is known by different names in different parts of the country. Next one is intensive subsistence farming. It is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land. It is labor intensive farming. Yield per hectare is high in intensive subsistence farming because high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used. The size of the land holdings is small and uneconomical. Farmers take maximum output from the limited land by raising 2 to 3 crops in a year from the same land, that is, multiple cropping is practiced. The term intensive subsistence agriculture is used to describe the type of agriculture characterized by high output per unit of land. Intensive subsistence farming is practiced in Punjab and some parts of Rajasthan, UP and MP, Madhya Pradesh. Commercial farming. When farmers grow crops and rear animals for economic activity, it becomes commercial farming. It is practiced with the intention of selling the products on the market. Due to the need for a high amount of output, farmers cultivate larger areas of land with heavy use of machinery. The use of higher doses of modern inputs like high yielding seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides in order to obtain higher productivity is the main characteristics of commercial farming. In commercial farming, crops are mainly grown for commercial purposes. The degree of commercialization varies from one region to another. For example, rice is a commercial crop in Punjab, while in Odisha it is subsistence crop. Subsistence crop means farmers grow food crops to meet the needs of themselves and their families. In subsistence agriculture, farm output is mostly used for their survival and local requirements. Commercial crops are grown to sell for profit. Wheat is a commercial crop in Punjab and Haryana, but it is a subsistence crop in Madhya Pradesh and some parts of Bihar. Plantation farming is a mix of agriculture and industry. In this type of farming, a single type of crop is grown on a large area. Plantation owners usually grow a single crop like banana, coffee, tea, etc. in a plantation and use technological support to process the crop on the farm itself or a factory attached to it. The end product also works as a raw material for industries. For example, the rubber. Rubber is the end product from rubber plantations, but rubber industry uses the rubber produced from its plantations as raw material. Plantation is carried out on large estates using lot of capital in intensive units. Lot of migrant laborers work on these estates. The plantation has an interface of agriculture and industry. All produce is used as raw material in the respective industries. The production is mainly for the market, that is commercial agriculture. In India, tea in Assam, coffee in Karnataka, rubber, sugarcane, banana, etc. are some of the important plantation crops. Now we shall see cropping pattern in India. The choice of crop cultivation of farmer is guided by the factors like physical, social and economic. Sometimes they cultivate a number of crops at their farms. Cropping pattern means the proportion of area under different crops at a point of time. Cropping pattern in India or the choice of crop cultivation of farmers is mainly determined by rainfall, climate, temperature and soil type. Cropping pattern in India or the choice of crop cultivation of farmer is mainly determined by rainfall, climate, temperature and soil type. Sometimes farmers cultivate a number of crops at their farms and rotate a particular crop combination over a period. But the best farming practices are always followed by certain cropping patterns as well as cropping system for raising their productivity and also for maintaining the fertility of soil. The Indian agriculture is decided by the soil types and climatic parameters. There are 3 cropping seasons in India. They are Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. Rabi crops are sown in winter from October to December and harvested in summer from April to June. Some of the important rabi crops are wheat, barley, peas, gram and mustard. Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh are important for the production of wheat and other rabi crops. Kharif crops are grown with the onset of monsoon in different parts of the country. These are harvested in September to October. Rice, maize, jowar, bajra, moong, urad, cotton, jute, groundnut and soya bean are the important crops grown during this season. Zaid season. In between the Rabi and the Kharif seasons, there is a short cropping season during summer months, mainly between March to April and June to July. It is known as Zaid season. Watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber vegetables and fodder crops are produced during Zaid season. Now we shall look at the major crops that are grown in our country. Different crops provide us with food and raw materials for goods. We get cotton for clothing, wood for shelter and fuel, plants and roots for medicines and materials for biofuels. It also provides us incomes and livelihoods. A variety of food and non-food crops are grown in different parts of our country depending upon the variations in soil, climate and cultivation practices. First of all, let us focus on the major food grains grown in our country. Rice is the most important cereal crop. It is the staple food crop of a majority of the people in India. Our country is the second largest producer of rice in the world. China is the largest rice producer. It is a kharif crop which requires high temperature above 25 degrees Celsius and high humidity. Rice is the basic food crop and being a tropical plant, it flourishes comfortably in hot and humid climate. Rice is mainly grown in rain-fed areas that receive heavy annual rainfall. That is why it is fundamentally a kharif crop in India. Let us see the geographical conditions required for the growth of rice. As I said earlier, it requires hot and humid climate for cultivation of rice crop. High temperature above 25 degrees Celsius and high humidity with annual rainfall above 100 centimeter are favorable for the growth of rice. In areas with less rainfall, it grows with the help of canal irrigation and tube wells. Rich alluvial soil is the best for rice cultivation. Abundant rainfall or good water supply is necessary during the earlier part of its growing season. Plains of North and Northeastern India, coastal areas and the delta regions are ideal for rice cultivation. Assam, West Bengal, coastal regions of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Maharashtra are some of the most important rice growing regions. These regions provide all the favorable conditions for the growth of rice or paddy. Wheat is the second most important cereal crop. This rabi crop requires a cool growing season and a bright sunshine at the time of ripening. It requires 50 to 75 centimeter of annual rainfall evenly distributed during the growing season. Ganga Satluj Plain and the black soil region of Deccan are the two important wheat growing zones in the country. Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh are important for the production of wheat and other rabi crops. Millets, jowar, bajra and ragi are the important millets grown in India. These are known as coarse grains and have very high nutritional value. For example, Ragi is very rich in iron, calcium, other micronutrients, and roughage. Coarse grains are rich in essential amino acids and protein as well as vitamins and minerals and fibers. Compared to rice and wheat flour, coarse grains have lower content of carbohydrates and higher content of dietary fibers that helps to ensure proper functioning of the digestive system. Jowar is the third most important food crop with respect to area and production. It is a rain-fed crop mostly grown in the moist areas. It is mainly produced in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Bajra. Bajra grows well on sandy soils and shallow black soil. Major bajra producing states are Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Haryana. Ragi. Ragi is a crop of dry regions. It grows well on red, black, sandy, loamy and shallow black soils. Major ragi producing states are Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Jharkhand and Arunachal Pradesh. Maize is a kharif crop. It requires temperature between 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius and grows well in old alluvial soil. It is used both as a food and fodder. Major maize producing states are Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Use of modern inputs such as high-yielding seeds, fertilizers and irrigation have helped to increase the production of maize. Pulses. India is the largest producer and consumer of pulses in the world. Pulses are the major source of protein, especially in a vegetarian diet. Major pulses grown in India are arhar, urad, moong, Masoor or a split red lentil, peas and gram. Pigeon pea is commonly known as arhar dal or split tuar dal. It has its origins in the eastern parts of peninsular India. It is both a food crop and a cover crop. Arhar, black gram, green gram, moth beans, horse gram are the major kharif pulses. Rabi or summer season pulses are Bengal gram, lentil and field pea. Pulses are mostly grown in rotation with other crops so that the soil restores fertility by fixing nitrogen from the air. Nitrogen is so vital for the growth and development of the plants. It is a major component of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the compound by which plants use sunlight energy to produce sugars from water and carbon dioxide. It is also a major component of amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. Major pulse producing states are Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka. What are the food crops other than grains that are grown in our country? Let us see. Sugarcane. It is a tropical as well as a subtropical crop. It grows well in hot and humid climates with a temperature of 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius and annual rainfall between 75 centimeter to 100 centimeter. It can be grown on a variety of soils. Sugarcane needs manual labor from sowing to harvesting. Planting, tending and harvesting sugarcane is labor intensive and cane cutting is a tough physical operation. India is the second largest producer of sugarcane only after Brazil. Sugarcane is the main source of sugar, gur, khansari and molasses. Molasses is the dark sweet syrupy byproduct made during the extraction of sugars from sugarcane and sugar beets. Molasses is used in baked goods, baked beans, barbecue sauce and other dishes that benefit from its dense sweetness. The major sugarcane producing states are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Bihar, Punjab and Haryana. Oil seeds. India is the largest producer of oil seeds in the world. In India, 12% of the total cropped area is under oil seed production. Main oil seeds produced in India are groundnut, linseed, mustard, sesame, castor seeds, coconut, soya bean, cottonseed and sunflower are the main oil seeds. And groundnut it is a kharif crop. Groundnut accounts for half of the major oil seeds produced in India. Gujarat is the largest producer of groundnuts. Linseed and mustard are rabi crops. Sesame is a kharif crop in the north and rabi crop in South India. Castor seeds is grown as both rabi and kharif crop. Coconut, soybean, cottonseed and sunflower are other oil seeds. Most of these are edible and used as cooking oil. Some are also used as raw material in the production of soap, cosmetics and ointments. Tea is an important beverage crop introduced by the British in India. The tea plant grows well in tropical and subtropical climates. Tea plants require deep and fertile, well-drained soil which is rich in humus and organic matter. Tea bushes require warm and moist, frost-free climate all through the year. Tea is a labor-intensive industry because it requires abundant, cheap and skilled labor. The tea leaves have to be plucked by tender hands like that of women. It is a tedious work to pluck 2 leaves and 1 bud at a time. Tea leaves are processed within the tea garden to restore its freshness. Major tea producing states are Assam, Hills of Darjeeling, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Because of its long growing season and generous rainfall, Assam is one of the most prolific tea producing regions in the world. India is the second largest producer of tea after China. Coffee. Indian coffee is known in the world for its good quality. Yemen coffee is produced in India and this variety of coffee is in great demand all over the world. Its cultivation was initially introduced on the Baba Budan hills and now it is confined to the Nilgiri in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Horticulture crops. The practice of growing flowers, fruits and vegetables is known as horticulture. India is a producer of tropical as well as temperate fruits. Mangoes of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. Oranges of Nagpur and Cherrapunchi in Meghalaya. Bananas of Kerala, Mizoram, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. Lychee and guava of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Pineapples of Meghalaya, grapes of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Maharashtra. Apples, pears, apricots and walnuts of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh are in great demand. India produces about 13% of the world's vegetables. It's an important producer of pea, cauliflower, onion, cabbage, tomato, brinjal and potato. Next comes non-food crops. Non-food crops are also called as industrial crops. It's a crop grown to produce goods for manufacturing rather than food for consumption. For example, rubber, fibers like cotton, jute and sericulture etc. Rubber is an equatorial crop. It requires a moist and humid climate with rainfall of more than 200 cm and temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. It is an important industrial raw material. Rubber is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Garo Hills of Meghalaya. Fibers. Cotton, jute, hemp and natural silk are the 4 major fiber crops. Cotton is a kharif crop. It requires high temperature, light rainfall, 210 frost-free days and bright sunshine for its growth. Cotton grows well in black cotton soil of the Deccan Plateau. Major cotton producing states are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Jute. Jute is known as the golden fiber. It has gained its name as golden fiber due to its shiny brown color. It is most affordable natural fiber and is 100% biodegradable. It grows well on well-drained fertile soils in the floodplains. High temperature is required for its growth. It is used in making gunny bags, mats, ropes, yarn and carpets. Major jute producing states are West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya. Cotton, jute, hemp and natural silk are the four major fiber crops. Cotton, jute and hemp are grown in the soil. Natural silk is obtained from cocoons of the silkworms fed on green leaves. Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. We have discussed about the types of farming and the major food grains that are grown in India. The land under cultivation of food crops has got reduced day by day. Can you imagine its consequences? The growing population is the major cause for a decline in the land under cultivation. A declining area of land under cultivation coupled with increasing population can lead to serious food grain shortages. This would in turn increase imports of food grains. It will cause the economy to reel under huge debts. We have been looking at the different types of crops grown in our country. Now let us see the technological and institutional reforms taken place in agriculture to increase the production. Agriculture provides a livelihood for more than 60% of its population. Most of the farmers in our country still depend on monsoon and natural fertility in order to carry on their agriculture. So this sector needs some serious technical and institutional reforms. After independence, major institutional reforms such as collectivization, consolidation of holdings, cooperation and abolition of zamindari system, etc. were given priority. Land reforms was the main focus of our first 5-year plan. Let us see some initiatives taken by the government to increase the agricultural production in our country. The government of India embarked upon introducing agricultural reforms to improve Indian agriculture in the 1960s and 1970s. The Green Revolution, based on the use of package technology, and the White Revolution or Operation Flood were some of the strategies initiated to improve a lot of Indian agriculture. Green Revolution refers to the introduction of high-yielding varieties of seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and assured irrigation facilities. This was adopted in the Indian agriculture to boost up production of food grains. Government of India initiated White Revolution known as Operation Flood for increasing milk production in our country. White Revolution made India the largest producer of milk in the world. But these initiatives also led to the concentration of development in a few selected areas only. Therefore, in the 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated, which included both institutional and technical reforms. Provision for crop insurance against drought, flood, cyclone, fire and disease. The establishment of Grameen banks, cooperative societies and banks for providing loan facilities to the farmers at lower rates of interest were some important steps in this direction. Kisan Credit Card, Personal Accident Insurance Scheme are some other schemes introduced by the Government of India for the benefit of the farmers. Moreover, special weather bulletins and agricultural programs for farmers were introduced on the radio and television. The government also announces minimum support price, remunerative and procurement prices for important crops to check the exploitation of farmers by speculators and middlemen. Now let us say the contribution of agriculture to the national economy, employment and output. Agriculture has been the backbone of the Indian economy. In 2010 and 11, about 52% of the total workforce was employed by the farm sector. That means more than half of the Indian population dependent on agriculture for sustenance. But the share of agriculture in the GDP is declining from 1951. It is not generating sufficient employment opportunities in the country. Considering the importance of agriculture in our country, the Government of India made some efforts to modernize agriculture. Indian Council of Agricultural Research, agricultural universities, veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticulture development, research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast, etc. are a few of the initiatives introduced by the government to improve Indian agriculture. Next comes food security. Food is a basic need. Every citizen should have access to food which provides minimum nutritional level. If any section of our population doesn't have this access, they suffer from lack of food security. Large number of people do not have food security in some regions of our country. Our government has designed a national food security system in order to ensure availability of food to all sections of society. It has two components. One is buffer stock and the other is public distribution system. The primary objective of our food security policy is to ensure availability of food grains to the common people at an affordable price. The focus of the policy is on growth in agricultural production and on fixing the support price for procurement of wheat and rice. Food Corporation of India or FCI is responsible for procuring and stocking food grains, whereas distribution is ensured by Public Distribution System or PDS. The FCI procures food grains from the farmers at the government announced minimum support price or MSP. The government used to provide subsidies on agriculture inputs such as fertilizers, power and water. The high MSP subsidies in input and committed FCI purchases have changed the cropping pattern also. Wheat and paddy crops are being grown more for the MSP they get. Punjab and Haryana are best examples. Instead of concentrating only on wheat or rice, the food crop with a better growth potential in that particular area must be encouraged. The consumers are also divided into two categories, BPL, that means below poverty line, and APL, above poverty line. The issue price of grains and other essential commodities in the PDS system is different for each category. However, this categorization is not perfect and a number of deserving poor have been excluded from the BPL category. There has been a gradual shift from cultivation of food crops to cultivation of fruits, vegetables, oil, seeds and industrial crops. This has led to the reduction in the production of cereals and pulses. The declining food production puts a big question mark over the country's future food security. A declining area of land under cultivation coupled with increasing population can lead to serious food grain shortages. This would in turn increase imports of food grains, It will cause the economy to reel under huge debts. Now let us see the impact of globalization on Indian agriculture. Globalization means the increased interdependence of people and countries all around the planet. It means the fast flow of movements and exchanges of goods and services among the countries. Globalization is not a new phenomenon. It was there at the time of colonization. During the British period, cotton belts of India attracted the British for their textile industries. Cotton textile industry in Manchester and Liverpool flourished due to the availability of good quality cotton from India. The farmers in Bihar region were unable to grow food grains to sustain their families because they were forced to grow indigo on their land as it was necessary for the textile industries in Britain. In the 19th century, when European traders came to India, Indian spices were exported to different countries of the world, and farmers of South India were encouraged to grow these spices and such crops for the British. Till today, it is one of the important items of export from India. Under globalization, particularly after 1990, the farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges. Despite being an important producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute and spices, our agricultural products are not able to compete with the developed countries because of the highly subsidized agriculture in those countries. Today, Indian agriculture finds itself at the crossroad. To make agriculture successful and profitable, proper thrust should be given to the improvement of the condition of marginal and small farmers. This is all about agriculture. We will come up with chapter-wise repeated questions with its solutions in the past paper analysis. Please subscribe the channel to be notified of the new videos. Keep watching. Thank you.